the end then. Let's start with Fran.
Well, my name's Fran Miller. I'm your current state senator. Seems a little funny sitting up here looking at Tom Rice out here. He may be the oldest guy up front. I really am bitter about this, but again, it's been a pleasure to serve the Peachtree Corners area for the last 6 years. I've been in the General Assembly for 18 years. I was in the House for 12 years. They say I was House trained. And then I went over to the Senate when Dan Weber left. And I've had the good fortune, I guess, to be involved in all the cities that have been created over the years. And it's been a wonderful experience. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of your folks, with Mike, of course, Phil, your other council members, and to see the growth of community with the growth of the cities is very, very exciting to me. And Dan Weber and I, who used to handle this seat before I took it over, we used to talk about coming over to Peachtree Corners because we get our Sandy because we live in DeKalb. And it's always nice to come over here. But again, I've had the good fortune to be in the General Assembly. I spent a lot of time on educational issues. I chair the Higher Education Committee in the Senate. I'm involved with economic development. Okay, I'm on the Health Committee with Renee Underman, who's also chair from Gwinnett County. I serve on the Rules Committee, which determines which bills come to the floor. And I think going forward, the things we've got to concentrate on in this state are continuing to improve education, and because that's the key to economic development. And we also need to deal with regional transportation. These are probably, I think regional transportation is probably the biggest failing since I've been in the General Assembly. But I see some light at the end of the tunnel. I see people moving to get things done, and that's really what we're going to emphasize going forward. I'll talk a little bit later about higher education, what we need to do with the Hope Scholarship to get more money from the lottery proceeds, et cetera, into, for example, as pre-K as well as higher education. Also, the escalating costs of higher education. They're probably worse than what you see with health insurance. So those are some of the major issues. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Mr. Pete?
Thank you. I'm Stephen Pete, and I would be humbled and honored to be your candidate for Post 2 and be elected next Tuesday, May 24th, at the City Hall. Please remember to go to City Hall to vote for me, and then you can go to your regular polling place to vote for Fran or whomever else you'd like to vote for. I want to thank UPCCA for organizing the forum and Peachtree Corners Baptist Church for hosting this forum this evening. Also, I want to thank everyone here in the community for showing your interest in this election. This is incredible. It's great. Community involvement is why I'm running. I've been involved a lot in the community over the years, almost 30 years now. I started on the Peachtree Station Homeowners Association Board of Directors. I've been involved with other homeowners association before UPCCA came about, and working on zoning issues with the Roberts Apartments, with the forum, before the forum was actually here. All those sorts of things. I've served on the local school advisory committee in the schools, Gwinnett Public Schools on the curriculum, Norcross High School band program, robotics, scouting, both Boys and Girl Scouts, as a leader in a number of units. I have also coached youth roller hockey for over 10 years, and for fun, I was a DJ at the swim meets. I see communication as one of the biggest issues in the city as it works through planning the town center, thinking about considering what to do about a pedestrian bridge or not, the Simpson Park changes, and improvements for Holcomb Bridge and the Winters Chapel corridors. One of the things we teach in leadership in Scouts is embracing diversity, especially for a team. The city council is a team, and I can bring a new perspective to the council with my engineering background and my management background. That will strengthen the city council. I plan to bring a researching, analytical, and data-driven approach to city council for responsible growth. I actively seek your information and input. Thank you very much. Oh, all engineers don't drive trains.
Mr. Christ?
Thanks, Jim. Good evening. I first came to Peachtree Corners in 1988 during spring break from Georgetown when I visited my girlfriend at her home on Belleville Way in Peachtree Station. When she graduated from Georgetown in 1991 and moved back to Atlanta, I followed and enrolled in Emory's MBA program. A marriage to that same girlfriend, Maureen MacIver, and senior management positions at technology companies kept us here in the Atlanta area. Fast forward 25 years, and Maureen and I have been living in Neely Farm for 18 years and are raising two daughters who attend Norcross High and Pinckneyville Middle. I'm CEO of a healthcare software company located right here in our area, and I currently serve you as Vice Chairman of our city's Zoning Board of Appeals. When I received phone calls from neighbors asking me to run for City Council, I was hesitant, busy with family and career. After the fourth call, I checked with my better half, and when she was on board, I agreed to enter this race to represent District 2. Mindful of the frenzy that is our current national political process, I reached out to people involved in the city who reminded me that we have nonpartisan city elections for a reason. Local issues are about neighbors helping neighbors and working together to improve our quality of life. Those insights were correct. After knocking on over 300 doors across District 2 during the past 2 weeks, voters have told me they are concerned about who will be a good steward of our tax dollars and bring thoughtful, incisive decision-making to the role, not about party labels. Keeping party politics out of city elections enables us to focus on the qualifications and the character of the candidates so we can hire the best person for the job. I'm pleased to be here, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Mr. Lowe.
You going to defer the rest of your time to me? Yeah, he's the rest of the time. Well, first I'd like to thank PCBC for hosting this tonight. Let me tell you, when Jill and I first were married and we moved to Peachtree Corners, this was the first church we started coming to, and we made some terrific friends from Peachtree Corners Baptist Church. I even got to hobnob it with a Georgia legend, Bupaloo, and I thought that was pretty exciting during that time. Thanks to Scott and the UPCCA for putting this on tonight. Terrific venue. I can't go without saying thank you so much to Mr. Mayor and the council for my rich experiences that I've had on the city council. I've learned so much through the ups and downs of being on the council, and let me share with you guys, it's a tough road to hoe. I don't know if you really know what you're getting into, but it's certainly not an easy job. But when I turned 40, I looked back and I reflected on my life, and I wanted to find out what was most important to me. And what I figured out, what was my most important things to me was, number one, my wife, Jill, sitting back there in the back. Hey, Jill. My daughters, Susanna, Tatum, Emerson, and Carson, and then this community. This community was very, very important to me. So that was important to me. So as an entrepreneur, and I don't know if many of you know this, but I've owned several businesses in Peachtree Corners. I've created jobs in Peachtree Corners. And as an entrepreneur, what you have to understand is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur is making decisions. And those decisions, can affect the people that work for you, they affect the people that you do business with, and sometimes you make bad decisions. And when you make bad decisions, you have to pay the consequences for those bad decisions. It could be losing money, it could be losing clients. So why did I decide to run in 30 seconds? Well, I think we've all been watching the news lately. And at the end of the day, I watched the news and I said to myself, something's got to be done about this. Somebody's got to jump in and say, hey, this is ridiculous. There's something that somebody can do something better than what's happening right now. And that's the reason I decided to run, because I'm tired of these professional politicians with their same cookie cutter responses over and over and over again. And I felt that with some of my visions, some of my leaderships, I could do a better job than what's been done in the past. My time is up.
Mr. Hilton.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming. It's amazing to see this huge crowd and you guys investing time to learn about the different candidates. A supporter shared with me a text today that said, can you believe that there's people, men and women and veterans out there fighting for us every single day on the front lines so that we can be in a room just like this debating the issues? That is amazing. So I thank you for coming here. For me, many of you know me, I've been involved in the community for years, and I have an absolute passion for public service, and that's why I'm running. I really do think we need authentic servant leaders in public office. So I've stood on many of your doorsteps. I've laughed, I've cried, I've hugged, I've been on 1,200 doorsteps. I've learned a lot in this journey about all of you, and it's been amazing, and it's been amazing to hear the issues. I've also learned a lot about myself. Apparently I voted for Obama, so that was exciting news to find out. But the house that I'll never forget is house number 892. A 9-year-old boy came to the door and said, I can't believe you're Scott Hilton. You came to my door. And we took a selfie, and I gave him a sticker. But I kneeled down in front of him, and I said, you know what, son? I'm not that important. You are important. I work for you, and I work for 55,000 voters in this district. And being a 9-year-old, he had a blank stare on his face, so I gave him another sticker and sent him on his way. But my point being is that I am here today. This is a job interview, and you are here to evaluate the candidates based on their resume, based on their background. And when you compare the two, I guarantee you'll see a difference. One has the character, the integrity, the background, the private work experience to be effective for you day one. I've got a vision. I want Georgia to be the families and business. I've got a plan to execute on that. I think if we address education, transportation, jobs, and the economy, we will be the #1 state for families and business. And so again, I'm here today to work for you. I'm here today because we need more true public servants, and I'm here to serve that role for you. And so I ask for your vote on May 24th. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to hear you guys what I had to say. You actually did a really good job with the rules, so I appreciate that. We're off to a good start. Now, the response time for each question is 1 minute. It means it's all that much more important to finish up in 1 minute. The other candidate, I'll ask, for example, I'll ask Mr. Hilton the question. Mr. Lowe will have 30 seconds to respond. And what we'll do is next time we go around, we'll alternate. I'll ask Mr. Lowe a question, and Mr. Hilton will have an opportunity to respond, and so on down the line. Senator Miller, you'll just get.
Should I turn the chair?
Yeah, well, you'll get 1 minute every time. That's right. Yeah, right. Okay. Well, this first question then will be for Scott Hilton. This is really a full-time job, much more when legislature is in session. How do you have time for employment and to be my representative?
That's a great question, and I think that's what we're trying to work out through right now. The total pay for being a representative is $17,000. So on an hourly basis, I think it works out to be $1 an hour. And there's been an issue or discussion around in this race around term limits. And I would 100% agree at the federal level, we need term limits. When you have people in Washington, D.C. earning an annual salary and being able to stay up there for 30, 40, 50 years, certainly not what our founding fathers anticipated Congress looking like. However, state level term limits really just don't make sense. When you're earning $17,000 and then have to go back to a full-time job, you are in the community. Many of you, I will go down and I will work for you for 3 months at the State House, and then you'll see me at Ingalls, you'll see me at Atlanta Bread Company, and we'll be able to interact. And it's not something that I'm going to go down there and be able to make a career out of, because for a lot of people financially that just doesn't work. And so, yes, my family and I, it is going to be a financial sacrifice for us. But as I said in the beginning, this is public service. This is me working for you. It should be a financial sacrifice. Thank you.
Mr. Lowe, 30 seconds.
Term limits. When I sat back and I looked at the list of all the things that were important to me, being pro-life was actually #1, Scott. #2 were term limits. And term limits, not just for the federal government, but also for everyone. So I'm not sitting here telling you that you should term limit the federal government. You should be term limiting every person. Anyone who's elected to state office should be term limited. There's plenty of other good candidates out there that can actually sit back and do a good job for this. And I personally think that it's something that has got to be done to fix Georgia, because it's systemic. It needs to be changed.
Thank you. All right, next question will be for the candidates for City Council Post 2. Mr. Christ, you're next in line, so you're next. You'll have 1 minute to respond to this question. Mr. Pete, you'll have 30 seconds to rebut. All right, now that the city's been in existence for 4 years, please name the single most important item that the city has achieved. Also, please name one area or item that you feel the city needs to improve the most, and what would you do to improve it?
I think the city has achieved a lot in its first 4 years. I think things that would be different if we hadn't been a city would be the town center development, would be apartments. Simpson would be sold to a developer. But I think the most important thing that the city has done is bring government local to us here in Peachtree Corners and giving us an ability to interact with the city council, with the city staff, to do business with the city, and for them to be responsive to us. I think one thing that the city hasn't done well is communication. I think there are a lot of residents out here who feel that they haven't been heard on some major issues, and that one thing I would propose is the city do a better job of proactively communicating the issues that are in front of the city, developments that are underway, and making sure that all citizens feel they have a chance to be heard on the issues.
Mr. Pete, 30 seconds.
Thank you. The biggest thing that we've done is go ahead and as he said, bring this city, bring the government right here. You don't have to go to Lawrenceville. You go to City Hall. It's right down there in Tech Park, very nearby. You also have all these, all your citizens here are sitting on the board, the zoning board, and the city council, and they're your neighbors. That's who's governing it, not one person going to Lawrenceville to help govern that.